Hey, everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row for BuckIQ. You know that guy, it's Zach Boren. And the last several weeks have proven it's time for a silver bullet breakdown. The name, the moniker is back. Ohio State is rolling. And not sure, Zach, what more you could ask for than 54-7 on the road in a Big Ten game.
No, they are rolling. And in the past couple of weeks, you hit the nail on the head there. They deserve the silver bullet defense. This defense has been setting the tone ever since really that Akron game where they came out and started getting those turnovers, and really setting the tone for this offense. And really, you don't need to do much for this offense to tee them up for them to start throwing some haymakers to the other side. So this defense has been outstanding. I love the way they're flying around with the football. The effort is there. The communications that you can just tell that they are all playing in sync, and you want nothing more in a defense.
Well, I guess the touchdown streak is over for the defense. They didn't get a pick six or a fumble return against Indiana, so maybe there was a little room for improvement. But I went into Saturday night, Zach, expecting, hey, Haskell Garrett had a week off to get healthy with that lower leg situation. Tyreek Smith was back after missing 3 games with a concussion. Thought, well, Zach Harrison was motivated because he's got a lot on the line for this last half. I thought, well, I'm going to watch the pass rush here. Turns out it was back.
Yeah, for sure. It was back in a big way. And you said it. Haskell Garrett was getting healthy. You see Zach Harrison knowing he's got to turn it on. Tyreek Smith. A lot of these guys are kind of starting to pin their ears back a little bit and get after the quarterback. And let's even, that's not even talking about the young freshman that showed up early. JT kind of putting a big hit on the quarterback there on Tuttle and taking him out of the football game. But, I actually think a lot of these young guys, the way they've played the past couple of weeks, have fed into these older guys coming out knowing, hey, they got to step up their game. Hey, we got something to prove, to even these young guys, and we don't want to be taken over for the last part, the last big stretch of the season. So a lot of these young guys are motivated, or a lot of the older guys are motivated, and that's the best thing you have for a football team is guys pushing one another, guys pushing for playing time, because it's only going to bring out the best in everyone.
So what will this week for Ohio State on the practice field and in the film room be like, Zach? Because this tends to be a Penn State matchup where Ryan Day would talk about talent equating, and that when you look at 1 through 85, Penn State is probably the second most talented roster in the league. But you've also watched a team that's really struggled on offense. How will they? I don't know. How does that balance go on in the Woody when this team is struggling a little bit? But there might be the potential for them to bounce back a little bit.
This week's all about intensity. That's it. You don't need to talk about talent. You don't need to talk about, Penn State being the next probably most talented team in the Big Ten. You don't need to talk about any of that. You don't need to talk about James Franklin's antics off the football field. You don't need to talk about all the bulletin board material that Penn State, for some reason, always wants to give Ohio State. You don't need to talk about any of that. This is a huge game for Ohio State. You win this game, you're set up to keep on running in the Big Ten, keep on elevating yourself in the college football playoff. This week is all about intensity. They're going to come in there and they're going to want to get to work, and they're going to want Saturday to be tomorrow. That's the way that they're going to act. This week's going to be so intense. Practices are going to be at a high level. Guys are going to be locked in. It's not like you're going to play Indiana again or Purdue. You are playing Penn State at home in the Horseshoe in prime time, 7:30 p.m. at night, and that place is going to be rocking. And so those guys, they're excited. It's like Christmas morning to them. I remember when I used to play those night games, those big games, man, it felt like every single day you woke up and you just wanted to get over to the Blackwell to start your game prep. And that's what it's going to be for those guys. Those guys are going to be hungry. They're going to be ready. And listen, they want to send a message, right? I mean, the last time they really played a ranked opponent was Oregon at home, and they didn't show out too well. So those guys are going to want to send a message to the rest of the country, to the rest of the Big Ten, that, hey, the games you've seen the last 4 to 5 weeks are really who we are, and you better watch out.
Sounds like Zach is ready for Saturday night already.
I am.
And here is part of the reason why. Let's roll the tape. All right, Zach, as we've said many times, I know that we want to talk about reading and reacting with linebackers, but if you don't get something generated up front, nothing else really matters all that much.
No, it doesn't matter at all. We saw this early on in this first drive, and yeah, Indiana ended up converting for a touchdown. But man, early on in this game, these were basically coverage sacks, right? Tuttle can't do anything with the football right here. Yeah, Ohio State's getting a good pass rush. You see the line of scrimmage. You see, how much pressure they're getting back into Tuttle's face. But Tuttle just has nowhere to throw the football. And here you see the guys, Haskell Garrett being able to get off here, Zach Harrison getting a good rush upfield, so Tuttle can't spin out of it and get out and get outside the pocket. This is just a great play across the board with defense. Yeah, the big uglies up front get credit with the sack. But, man, this is great coverage by the DBs. These are great play by the linebackers sitting in Tuttle's check down lanes and everything like that. So across the board, I saw this play and I'm like, it's a perfect play, especially early on in the game. Everyone's clicking.
Yeah, Haskell Garrett winding up with the sack here. He only drives his guy 6 yards into the backfield. That seems like an All-American caliber play. Gets held as well. I don't know what it takes for Ohio State to draw a holding penalty. That jersey was about 3 feet away from Haskell Garrett's body there, but whatever. It's still a sack.
I swear no one ever calls holding against Ohio State. It's atrocious. We can dedicate a whole BuckIQ to officiating, but we won't.
Yeah, I think it's apparently just legal to do that against the best athletes in the Big Ten, but that's neither here nor there. I think you and I had both been watching and waiting for Zach Harrison to turn that athleticism loose and play with that energy that we know is in there, and he really did that, I thought, from start to finish against Indiana.
He did, and this is another play where the whole defense is playing in unison. You see the little play action here. Tuttle wants to go to his right side. It's not there. DB's playing hard press on the corner up top. Instead, he comes back to the left side, and you see Cody Simon right here reading and reacting, seeing the running back after the play action fake come through the backfield, and he's supposed to get out into the flats right here. But Tuttle can't do anything with football because you see Cody Simon reacting to it. Look at that closing speed on the running back. Tuttle can't do anything but run for his life from a guy like Zach Harrison, and good luck, Tuttle, from running for your life against Zach Harrison, because, my God, that dude can move. And, yes, we've been waiting all year for him to turn it on. And I think that might be the most frustrating thing for Buckeye fans, for people like us, is because you see this play. This is a first-round draft pick caliber play. He chases down the quarterback from the inside from a couple yards down, gets credited for the sack. I mean, his entire motor, his skill, it's all there. He just needs to put it together on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, he was firing off the ball. It's another example of that. Here is this in the second quarter. He's got a chance at it. Tyreek Smith has a chance at it. You see what the big guys in the middle are doing, again, just collapsing the pocket. I mean, it didn't seem to matter what four they put out there, but those two guys at defensive end, both Tyreek Smith and Zach Harrison, we've talked about, this was that first round year for them. And they really helped force this one up in there for a Picktown guy to get a nice little sack.
They did, and this is exactly like the first play that we already broke down. DBs are playing great in coverage. You see the pressure that this defensive line puts on this quarterback, and how much they get into his face. I mean, you see where the ball is snapped, and the next thing you know, literally the quarterback's got 4 guys in his face and just continue getting depth on him. And so the quarterback can't do anything in this standpoint. Obviously, playing great coverage. All he can do is finally gets the back of his drop, and guys are right in his face. Zach Harrison, Tyreek Smith putting great pressure on the quarterback. And you see all 4 of these guys getting the push. If one of these guys aren't getting the push, that's where you see quarterbacks escape in the pocket and being able to get their eyes downfield and make a play. Well, if everyone's getting a push like that, there's nowhere for this quarterback to go. And Ty Hamilton, man, Pickerington Central Tiger, stepping up, making a play. Man, this defensive line is humming right now.
I mean, should teams just exclusively recruit in Pickerington? And people are asking.
They should, man. I tell you what, they really should. God dang, got another guy hopefully coming to the Buckeyes and Sonny Styles. Man, the Picktown pride is strong nowadays.
Anytime we can tee you up for that, we got to do it, Zach. This really was a game that was over by halftime. There wasn't a lot for us to worry about in the third and fourth quarter. Snap judgments I filed early in the third quarter just because the game was over, and it was because these guys were making so many defensive plays to set up that offense. You talked about it off the top, Zach, but I know that this is just another example that we filed away is JT Tuimoloau starts coming along heading into the second half of this season.
He is, and this is what I love from this play. And this is the one real pass rush that we can really break down based on a single person's performance. And we've seen so much this year of JT just kind of trying to bull rush or try and beat a guy with his speed on the outside. Now with this move, if people want to see it, it's right there. See him put his left foot in the ground, hit it with his right, and it looks like he's going to try and pull an up and under move, which is when you stress the tackle on the outside, get him to overstep and kick slide a little too far, and then you beat him on the inside. Well, what JT does is, guess what? Give him the left, back into the right, think he's hitting with the up and under. Then the tackle needs to post. A post is your inside foot, and when you post, you're expecting contact. That's kind of where you get your butt behind you and you get your power. Well, then at that point, your feet are on the ground, and that's where linemen get beat by speed, is when they're posting too hard and they're sitting too much on their inside leg. Here, you see JT go to the outside, back to the inside, and then look, he beats him to the outside again with speed. And so it's out in, out move. And this tackle can't do anything. Once he gets on JT's edge, and JT's dipping and ripping through the corner, there's nothing this guy can do. And JT, congratulations, man. First sack in your Ohio State football career. You're going to see it great right here. See that? Right there, under. And then look, he's coming back to the outside. This is now you're starting to see JT evolve, right? You've seen so many times this year where he thought he could bull rush, he thought he could beat guys with speed. Now he's finally realizing, hey, yeah, I was the number one recruit in the country, but I'm not playing high school football anymore against guys in Seattle, Washington. Now I'm actually playing against some grown dudes, and now I got to give them a little something. Now I got to use some technique. Now I got to use my athletic ability rather than just bull rush and beat someone with speed. And you're starting to see this, and watch out. Once it clicks for this guy, which I guarantee you, he watched film yesterday on Sunday morning, and this dude was like, I get it. I saw what I did, and he's going to start building on it.
Yeah, it's scary what this team can still become. Look at that. Another handful of 44's jersey. That's amazing that all that stuff continues to fly. That's not the point of this play, though. Just 4 guys instantly collapsing the pocket, and all of them then fighting to try and get that sack themselves.
This is another pressure. Look at this. You see where the ball is snapped, right? You see the line of scrimmage there. I mean, they're 5-6 yards back in the backfield, and the quarterback just got to the back to the end of his drop. I mean, it's so hard for a quarterback to make a throw when there are so many guys in his face. These aren't small dudes. These are 6'6" offensive linemen and defensive linemen, like some caged dogs coming after him. He doesn't feel comfortable in this standpoint, which is why he tries to, okay, I'm gonna tuck the football and run. Well, guess what? When you got all 4 guys getting this kind of pressure like they are right now, it's next to impossible for the quarterback to feel comfortable, and he's just got to tuck it and eat it at this point.
Well, not much more to say about it than that, Zach. The Rushmen were really firing on all cylinders. They've still got a lot of opportunity to get better, as you said, with young guys like JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, Ty Hamilton getting involved, Tyleik Williams. It's just kind of crazy to put your mind around what this team could still be building down the stretch, and it's got to be exciting for Larry Johnson.
No doubt, it has to be. And we the past couple of weeks, the pass rush is there, isn't there? This past game against Indiana was a complete game by the Rushmen up front, and they finally, as a unit, got after the quarterback on a consistent basis. Now, guess what? They need to build on this, because that Penn State game coming in here, and Sean Clifford, he's a dynamic quarterback. He hasn't shown it the past couple weeks, actually since his injury against Iowa in the second quarter. But before that dude was a dynamic quarterback and led this Penn State team, against Auburn, against some other matchups where they were playing well. So they know what Sean Clifford's capable of. But the one thing that's going to slow him down, especially coming off an injury, is guys in his face and guys getting after him from these Rushmen.
All right, Penn State is next. A big win for Ohio State over Indiana is in the books. As always, we appreciate our guy, Zach Boren, putting it in context for us and breaking it down for BuckIQ. Zach is already ready for Saturday night against Penn State, and he'll be back to break it down next week. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
For Zach, I am Austin Ward. This has been Lettermen Row, BuckIQ. We'll see you next time.